Welcome to another KimAppa. Jarrod and Robbie are here. Robbie has no idea what we're going to talk about
As
at
usual,
all.
right?
Even I would say even more than usual. I think you're on a higher level of not knowing what's going to happen in this particular episode than you are in a normal one. There's some cricket being played around the world at the moment, of course. Pakistan up against South Africa. They're
South Africa.
55 for 3. So they're in all sorts of trouble in their second test match. They're having won the first. And England are 96 for 2 versus the England women as well. So we know there's other cricket on, but obviously we can't comment on that because it's happening at the moment. There was, though, Robbie, a trade in the IPL, right?
Which you just brought to my notice.
I did just bring to your attention, which is, now I can't find it. I just saw it come up, and it was Washington Sundar for going from Gujarat to CSK. So basically, he goes to CSK as the replacement for Ashwin, which makes sense, right? That
Yeah, fair
seems
enough.
very,
Yeah.
very good. It's still reports. Nothing has been confirmed at the moment, but the reports are very specific, which makes me feel like it might have gone through. And just to say, when I say trade, I don't mean a trade, Robbie, because they didn't trade.
So,
It's for a cash payment, right?
yeah, cash
So
trade.
I would argue that CSK are a better side now with Washington there than they were without him. Would you agree?
I agree. I like Washi there. I think I think Washi is a very underrated player. I think he's underused, undervalued, and one can only hope that he gets the right roles there. I think there is tremendous amount of value for him to add. I think he could go in as a finisher and lefty as well. So could be someone who bats in the middle order. The funny thing about Washi also is that he can actually bat up the order as well. He's not bad at number 3.
Yeah, I think he's never really found his ideal batting or bowling spot in the IPL, and I think
Yeah.
that in a side like CSK, he's going to bowl more anyway, so he will be able to find that. So yeah, I think I think it's quite interesting if that's the case, right? So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
both agree that this has made CSK a slightly more interesting franchise, and they were obviously looking at a player like this and everything else. As the report comes up, I'm just having a look here. It's from Tamil Samayam is where the report is
Tamil
from, right?
Samayam. That means Tamil Times.
Yep. So at the moment, just a report. We're just doing this. But if the report is accurate, he's been traded for cash. So Gujarat are no better as a side now than they were before this trade, right? They haven't strengthened their squad. They haven't taken a flyer on a young player. But as based on this report, what they have managed to do, Gujarat, is make one of the opposition teams better that they have to play against to win the title. And this is the issue I have with all these IPL teams who keep doing trades for money. Take young players off the opposition. Take a senior player that might just help you this year as a backup player. Why would you allow the other team to get stronger when you have to beat them, right, during the season to make it to the finals?
So perhaps
IPL teams don't get it.
So I'll tell you what. I think the thinking behind that, and I'm just trying to see why could they have done something like that. They probably are very clear about who they want to go after in the auctions, and they probably want extra cushion of cash for that.
100% agree with that. That's fine. They've given themselves some room. Agreed?
Correct. So I think they've taken away the option, and I'm certain that, and I know that if they felt that there was someone who could really add value in CSK to their side, then they would have, because they're very clear about who they pick, right? They are very horses for courses kind of franchise, right? And they have very set kind of templates for them as a unit, and they've kind of stuck to that, and they've achieved certain amount of success with that. So I think they don't want to change from that, and I think that the think tank operates in a way where they're clear who they're going to go after, and more often than not, in the few auctions that we've seen them at play, they've actually had pretty decent auctions. So
you said recently that no team has worked out the auctions really, that has nailed the auction so far.
correct.
So if you are getting extra money back for the auction, what you are really doing is putting yourself in a position, right, where you are hoping that you can make your team better. CSK don't have to hope, Robbie. They just made their team better, right? Now, I get your overall point here about there might not have been a player on the opposition that they specifically needed. But is there a player that they could take from CSK that would have weakened CSK's backups, that would have weakened CSK's season, that would have made it a little bit more awkward for them? There's more than one thing at play, and teams keep doing the same thing. They keep going, we will fix this when we get a chance. And it's like, but the other team has a guaranteed fix, right? They now they'll move on from Ashwin, and they'll bring in Ashwin Jr. into that position, right? We know that they are a better team. I just think that there are better options than just taking cash on this or just freeing up cash. And I've said this before, this is not an IPL thing. I've seen this right across all T20 cricket. When teams do trades, they don't understand that it is not a zero-sum game, a trade, right? Getting a little bit of extra money. There was a team a couple of years ago, and I won't throw this team in, but it was a team a couple of years ago did a trade with, I think it was with Mumbai, because at that stage every trade was with Mumbai for cash. And I was, you can imagine, Robbie, quite angry about this trade because, again, it was making Mumbai better and it wasn't helping this other side. And the other side contacted me and said, no, you got to understand, that money that we got from that trade, we're going to put it into our analytics department. I was like, you're billionaires. Just put money into your analytics department. You don't need to get rid of a potentially good player to do that, right? And so there's always a justification. But as I said, trades are not a zero-sum game. If you're trading with someone, if you're trading in like an American sport, when you trade with someone in your conference, it is very important that you win that trade or make sure that you're in a good position. Because if you trade with another team and you make them better without you getting better, you have to beat that team in your conference in order to make the playoffs. In a league like the IPL, where you have to play everyone, you have to make sure that you're in a situation where you have weakened the opposition a little bit as well. That player is worth more than just the money that you get or the money that you free.
Yeah, but dude, how do you know if they can't get a better player from the auction? Maybe there's a particular player that they want to go go for, and they probably need that 20% extra to get that, right? And they
what if they don't get that player anyway? Is my point.
They probably have two options for those kind of players, right? They always have options with this stuff. So they probably have those options with them, and then so I think they kind of back those options and say, okay, if we can get one of these two players, we will fill this gap that we believe that exists in our side, and that'll make our team wholer.
Well,
that's probably the thinking.
What would you say that one of the most successful teams in the league ever has been Mumbai?
Yeah, of course.
And they have done a huge amount of trades for cash before. I don't think if that's the case, I would say you get a lot more out of trading for a player and just paying the opposition a little bit of money than you do waiting in the auction. I think we have a little bit of evidence that shows that already, that you can improve your side. So yeah, I do think there is, I do think it is a little bit different there when it comes to that. Anyway, I'm just pointing out, I think we're not in a point where we're very good at that. That's not what this episode's about though, Robbie. Would you like to know what this episode's about?
Oh, go on. Surprise me even more now.
So think about this. We don't talk a lot about the future of cricket, as in where teams are going to be.
Yeah.
Right? So at the moment, we all have in our head a bit of a shorthand of who's good, who's not good, where they're good, and all these sorts of things, right? But what we don't have is an idea of where these teams are going to be in, let's say, 5 years' time. So I came up with something that I really, that we'll bring up on the screen now. Right, where I looked at players under the age of 28 in the last 2 years of cricket to look at each international team, right, to see if they had a lot of players under the age of 28 who are producing at the moment, which would give us an idea of if you have 4, 5, 6 players under the age of 28 who are doing serious things. I'll explain it in a minute. You don't have to lead in. You're not going to be able to read it.
But what the heck is this? What kind of a deck did you...
That's what I'm saying. It's color-coded. It's all right. I'll explain it in a second. The colors make more sense than anything else. So I wanted to look at teams who had players under the age of 28, right, to understand that in the next 5 years, these are the players who become the stars in those sides more often than not. Some of them won't. Some of them will fade away. But it gives you a good idea if you've got lots of good players coming through. So this is the batting one, right? So you can see here, the number one player under the age of 28 who've made international runs is Shubman Gill, right? At number 4 is Jaiswal. And if you come down a little bit further towards the end, you'll see that Rishabh Pant. So you can see that color of the Indian blue has 3 players under the age of 28 who have made a lot of runs in the last couple of years of international cricket, right? So with that, I think we would both agree that neither of us are worried about Indian batting over the next 5 years, right? And we also know that this doesn't include Shreyas Iyer. It doesn't include, oh my God, who's batting at number 3 at the moment? What's the guy's name? The guy that started. No, in the test team. Oh my God, why have I forgotten his name? The guy who plays with a Gujarat, anyway, whose name has completely escaped me, and everyone in the comments will be saying it in the next couple of minutes now. But Sai Sudarshan, right? So there's it doesn't include players like that. There's plenty of batting talent coming through, right? So we know that in the next 5 years, the Indian batting is going to be quite good, right? Sri Lanka is another one here that has 3 players on this list. It has Nasanka, it has Mendes, and it has Asalanka, all, again, fairly high up, right? You know, you've got Nasanka is second on this list. They're all in the top, what are they, about top 12, let's say, right?
Yeah.
So Sri Lanka's batting in 5 years' time might be pretty good, right?
Solid.
They've got some good players coming through. England has 4 players on this list, so it actually has more than Sri Lanka or India, right? England has Harry Brook. It has Jamie Smith, Ollie Pope, and Phil Salt, right? So across formats, some pretty good players there. We might say, who knows what Pope is going to be like in the next couple of years, but Pope hasn't quite reached his peak age yet. Right?
How old is Ollie?
He must be about 29 now, I would say. Does that sound about right? I think he would have scored probably more runs, but not under the age of 28.
28.
He is.
He looks young.
Yeah, he's 27, so he hasn't even reached 28 yet, right?
Yeah,
so
he's young.
Even if you say Ollie Pope's not great, we would expect Ollie Pope to be better over the next 4 to 5 years than he has in the previous 4 to 5 years. Doesn't always happen, but as a general rule, right? That's how these players usually go. And then you got someone like Phil Salt, maybe only plays white ball cricket, but again, very, very experienced, right? And very young. So 4 players. So again, I think you would say those 3 teams off the top of your head have a pretty good ability to be able to build a good batting lineup in 4 to 5 years' time with the kind of ages and the kind of people that we're talking about there, right? The next team that is really, really fascinating here is Bangladesh. They have 5 players on this list, and you can see them. They're not at the top end of the scorers, but you can look at the dark green in the middle of this graphic. You can see there's a couple of them next to each other, which is Shanto and
Hridoy, Jackarali.
Yes, yep, you're on it. Who else have we got there? Hridoy.
Tanzir Hassan.
Yes, he's there as well. Right, so this is really interesting to me because we've seen them do this before, right? Have like a generation come through. This looks like a pretty... Jacker Ali, anyone who's ever listened to a podcast will know, like, I'm team Jacker Ali. I'm like, if...
Yeah, I saw when you were at home, you were like...
Yeah.
Don't ever say anything about Jacker Ali.
Exactly. I just love the dude so much. That's quite an interesting little... so you would have to say that they're batting over the next couple of years. Let's say that Shanto is the biggest question mark there, right? They still have more than enough other players kind of around that with lots of skill there. Afghanistan have 3 guys, Zadran, Gurbaz, and Omazai, right?
Yeah.
Again, solid enough 3 guys. I'll go back to Zimbabwe have 1 player, Brian Bennett. They're an old team. Zimbabwe have a lot of issues. We'll get to the bowling in a minute because I think they're quite interesting. But I certainly don't think their batting is going to go anywhere. New Zealand have 2 guys under 28 that I think are worth talking about, which is Ravindra and Glenn Phillips. Not a huge core. If you look at their players, Mitchell, Williamson, Conway, quite an old core. So their batting is a bit iffy in 4 to 5 years' time based on where they are. I don't know how old Mark Chapman is. I reckon he's about 29, 30 as well. So he even though he hasn't played... Even though he hasn't played a lot, he's not young, is he? Right?
No, I don't think he's very young.
Will Young is another guy who hasn't played a lot, but isn't that young. So they've got a couple of older guys coming through. Pakistan has 1 player under 28 that has made runs. Can you think of who that is? Yep, that's it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
South Africa has Tristan Stubbs and Dezorzi, and I think you can throw Dor Brevis in there as well. He hasn't quite played enough international cricket, but again, that's three younger guys. I think three is a good number. If he's got three, because you're going to find one or two other players, right? And you might have some senior players who will play on a little bit longer as well, right? Like, we're not saying everyone over the age of 35 is going to stop playing, but in general, there's an element of that. West Indies have Casey Carty. He's the only one on this list. And you can see he's right down the bottom.
Yeah.
Right at the end, there's a yellow one. Second that's the only Australian batter on this list.
Cam Green.
Yep. Right?
Interesting, eh?
So, based on this, I think we have no questions about India's batting in a couple of years. I think Sri Lanka and Bangladesh and England all look fine, right? Afghanistan, I'm okay with as well. A lot of these other teams, though, I have genuine
Afghanistan
questions.
slowed down after Trott's gone there as a coach. The batting has actually slowed down quite a bit.
What happens with Afghanistan is always going to be fascinating, right? Because it's, can you keep the continuity if they're going to change as who they are as a team, right? If they completely change the kind of team that they are in the future, I think things are going to change. Okay, so we're done batting. So, Rakshit, if you can bring up bowling here now as well.
1 sec.
Oh, Robbie's left, right? So, again, on the bowling, you can see just how different this is to begin with. The most wickets and the third most wickets here are two Zimbabweans. So we know that Zimbabwe has a great young seam bowling core, although they did pick a 34-year-old to play in a test match against England who wasn't particularly good. But they do have
and Murzabani.
Yeah, right. So they've got two really, really good bowlers here. So I think that's going to be their future, right? Around the seam bowlers. If they can keep those two on the park, and there's a couple of other younger guys coming through as well, which is fine. Pakistan have Shaheen and they have Abra Ahmed, right? Shaheen's knees are not under 28. I don't know how old his actual age is, right? So, not particularly great. West Indies, Alzari Joseph, right? Jaden Seals, and I'm missing the other one. Oh, Shamar Joseph. So they've got three bowlers on here, the West Indies, but I don't know how confident I feel in those bowlers in the future because Alzari Joseph has always been up and down, and Shamar Joseph, I don't know what his future is. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So they've got three bowlers here. That's fine. Afghanistan's got three bowlers. One of them is Rashid Khan, who is definitely not under 28 at any stage during this. But I did go off their Cricinfo ages. Omar is back on here as a bowler, and they also have Fazal Farooqi. You could add Noor Ahmed here as well, though. Yeah. So they've got some younger bowlers coming through. No issues there. Sri Lanka, three bowlers again. Hasaranga. I'm missing someone here. Avishka Fernando and Tikshana. Right? That's a decent call. And they've got other bowlers around that you and I like as well. So in the next 4 to 5 years, there's something to work on there. Bangladesh have 5 bowlers. So they have 5 batters and they have 5 bowlers. They're an incredibly young side, right? So I won't go through all their bowlers, but again,
5?
Yeah, so they've got Mahdi Hassan Miraz. They have Rishad Hassan. Now I am going through the bowlers. They got Tanzin Hassan. They've got Sharaf al-Islam. And they got Hassan Mahmood.
They got Hassan Mahmood right at the end there,
Yeah, right at the end. He just got over at 50 wickets. England have 2 bowlers, right? Gus Atkinson and Shoaib Bashir. So you'd have to say that if we were buoyant on their batting, we are a little bit more flimsy on their bowling, right? We're not 100% sure on their bowling there. New Zealand have 1 bowler, Will O'Rourke. South Africa have Marco Janssen. I didn't realize how old their bowling lineup was until I did this, by the way. Jarrod Coetzee, would he be under 28? He must be around that age as well.
I think
right?
I think Jarrod is under 28.
And they've got Mapaka coming through as well. I don't know. Do they have... And I don't think they have a young spinner, though, coming through off the top of my head that I would put on this list. India, 2 bowlers. Arshdeep Singh and Washington. Right? We've already talked about Washington.
Oh, Washington's there as well?
Yeah, so he's got 55 international wickets. Ireland, we haven't mentioned Ireland yet, Robbie, because they didn't have a batter under the age of 28 who's made 1,000 runs in the last 2 years. They have Mark Adair as a bowler. My God, they're an old side. Right. Okay. So we'll put the graphics up. obviously, I've rushed through it a little bit. That's why we were a little bit late on this show, because I was trying to put it through. So my question to you, Robbie, is in 5 years' time, we're talking cross formats here, so it's a little bit tricky. But in 5 years' time, what is your rankings of these teams? I think we both have India at number one still, right? What's your concern with India in the next 5 years? My concern is bowling, not batting, and it's second and third spinners, because I don't see as many great younger spinners coming through when I watch Indian cricket at the moment. But I think my main concern is the seam bowling, right? Of where their seam bowling is going to be. There's young talent there. You got Mike Yadav, you've got Harshit Rana, you've got Arshdeep Singh, you've got Prashid Krishna. But I need to know that one of them is going to be the next big star.
But I think Mayank again is a lot like Shaheen Shah, right? I think he's got a lot of these injury issues.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much, how sustainable he will be in the long run. And he's obviously got a lot of work to do, which is obviously not going to be really easy for him. Because I think he's one of those guys who's able to exert a lot more strength through his body than the body can sustain. I think, which is why he kind of breaks down. But I'm surprised that you haven't mentioned Australia, dude. Like, Australia's only got Cam Green there.
We're going to get to Australia. But we're doing the rankings now. This is my point. I think we get to talk about Australia in a moment. I did this because of Australia, right? Because I knew that they would be poor on this metric, but I didn't know how poor, and it's not good. But do you have it? We both have India at number one with slight questions over spin bowling, and maybe not questions over seam bowling.
I don't know how you have questions over spin bowling though. Like, you have great options. Like, I'll tell you options. Like, right
in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Okay,
like,
so Washi's fine. We pencil him in.
Sai Kishore, left arm spinner.
I like Sai Kishore. I think that's a downgrade from what they have now.
What?
And I'm a huge fan.
No.
Well, he's walked off the show. That's the end of KimAppa, everyone. It was a lovely run while we had it, but unfortunately,
like I'm feeling weird. I'm feeling hot when I cold when I turn it on, and then hot when I turn it off. So it's just weird. But dude, come on. What are you saying, man? Dude, Sai Kishore, in my opinion, is one of the top left arm spinners in India right now. I think skill wise, him and who's that other kid who's got 60, 70 wickets in Ranji Trophy from Vidarbha. I don't know how he hasn't gotten an India A call up yet, but he's damn good. Harsh something from H.
I'm sure someone will come up with it in the comments. But so Sai, the difference is when he comes into the side, what's his batting going to be like?
He's a decent hitter. He used to be an absolute crap batter, but the dude's worked so hard on his batting. He can score some quick runs.
Apparently is the
Harsh
guy.
Dubey. Yeah.
But so here we go, and thank you to who said Harsh Dubey.
Thank you.
Shubman. I think it was Shubman who said that.
Yeah. Sure.
And Arco. A few people have said it now. But so the point being is, at the moment, if you're a left arm finger spinner, you're replacing Akshar Patel or Ravi Jadeja, right? If you're replacing them, even if he's as good a bowler as those two, and those are two pretty fantastic bowlers, right? There's a big drop off in the batting. That's my only point with that is it's going to change their strengths as a side if they have specialist spin bowlers who can't bat at the same level, because they've had Ashwin, Akshar,
you were talking about
Washi,
spin bowling.
Jadeja.
Now, how you jump to all-rounders role?
No, because that's what you're replacing.
You were talking about specifically the skill set of spin, right?
Yes.
As far as skill set of spin is concerned, I don't think India have issues. I think there's a lot of talent there to be very.
But that changes the team if you have specialist spinners. So what you're right. I'm going. How good is this team going to be in 5 years' time? If you can replace the quality of spin, but you can't. Why do I always get that weird mustache? But you can't actually replace the all-rounder. Then your side still comes down a little bit, right? So as I said, I'm saying it's a slight downgrade on spin. I'm not saying it's huge.
I don't think it's a downgrade. I think right now India batting till number 9. Right?
That's what I mean. And so how do you beat them?
Battle number 8.
Hard. Yeah. So seam bowling. What are your thoughts on India?
With 8 batters. If you can't win with 8 batters, then you don't deserve to win.
But that's a different conversation for another day, but I love it. What about? But do you agree with me that at the moment we kind of have to wait for the seam bowlers to step up to that next level? I think
Seam
before
bowlers
we
for
know.
sure have to step up. I think there are some seam bowlers in India who really need to quickly get in that stride because they're getting enough opportunities at the highest level. I think someone like Prasidh Krishna, I think he's an incredible bowler. He's got tremendous potential, but I don't think he's living up to his potential right now. Siraj has been on and off, but I think when he's on, he's really, really good. When he's off, he's like off properly. And I think
Also, how old will Siraj be in 5 years' time? Right. So
35,
he will be 36.
36, yeah.
So if you look at that from that perspective, you're in a position of like, that's why I'm saying this. Bumrah's probably not bowling in 5 years' time. Shami's definitely not bowling. Siraj is not there. So you need a senior bowler, which from this other crop to come through. It might be Ashdeep, right? It might be Prashid, as we said before. You also need second, third, and fourth change. At the moment, that's not obvious. In a way that with Bangladesh, with their options, they might not be as good a team, but I think we can say Bangladesh have about 10 players who should still be playing international cricket in 4 to 5 years' time, right? So very different. I think we both agree, though, that India is still the number one team.
Yeah. In 5 years, yeah, I think India should be there.
So here's my question. In 5 years' time, across formats, who's the second best team? Because I don't have an answer to this at all. Based on what we just did there, I don't know if there's a clear-cut thing. The two teams that we know are going to have the most experience are going to be Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, right? Because they have, 8 or 10 players on my list. That doesn't even include for Bangladesh, Nahid Rana. I don't think he's on. I don't think he made our list. So they're going to have a lot of very talented players who are going to be more experienced, but neither of us are going to pick Bangladesh as the second team, right?
No.
Sri Lanka?
I'll tell you, Sri Lanka maybe, but if Sri Lankan cricket don't make wholesale changes to their side like they've been doing over the last 6 years, right? I think they make too many changes, and I think these are some of the guys who played, even them. I think there's just been the players have been so insecure within that system. I think after Sanath has come and taken over the system, I think he's brought in a little bit more consistency with the kind of players that play. And he's basically running the show right now. So I think from that point of view, I think there's a little bit more consistency with Sri Lanka. But if they have to get really, really good, then they have to continue to keep these players on for a particular period of time. Like Kusal Pereira was out of action for a year and a half, 2 years because of his accident, and then took a while to get back, and then bad form and got dropped and came back. And they have some good players there. I don't think they get. One is, I think there's a serious mindset issue because of the players feeling so insecure. I think they operate from survival mode and not from feeling secure and just looking to play the best cricket that they can possibly play. So I think that mindset, and when you play with that small mindset, then the outcomes are also not the greatest, And I think they kind of hover between two mindsets like that. There are times when they just kind of go out there and play with absolute freedom and they look like $1 million. I'm saying not just batting, even their bowling. They look $1 million. But there are days when it's like they just don't turn up mentally. It's not like the skill set's not there. They just mentally don't turn up. And that leaves them wanting in some important tournaments. And I hope that one is that mindset shifts. If that mindset shifts, buddy, I won't be surprised if they'll be the number 2 side in 5 years.
But neither of us would feel comfortable picking this number 2 side, I think, at the moment. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So these are my 3 options for number 2. South Africa, right? They don't have as many players on this list, but they do actually have some younger players coming through, even that aren't on this list. England, because they've got the batting.
England, I'd say.
Bowling, a bit of a question. And then Sri Lanka. I think if you're making a guess at the moment, England makes the best sense for number 2, just because there's enough batting there that both of us are like, in 5 years' time, they'll have some really, really good players who'll be flying by that point, right? So I'm happy to go with England at number 2. So I think
Australia, you're not even considering Australia?
No.
Why not? Because
they don't have any players under 28. Like who are the players even in?
But they generally don't pick players under 20. Like I think the average age of debuting for Australia will be around 28, 27, 28, right? It seldom has been under 25.
You say that, but Cummins, Stark, Hazelwood, Lyon all played either late teens or early 20s. Steve Smith.
Lyon? No.
Lyon was in his early 20s when he played for Australia the first time.
You sure?
Yeah, he was a groundsman, remember? 22,
Yeah.
23 when he made his debut. How old was
bet
Nathan
older.
Lyon when he made his Australian debut? I would say all of them made their debut before the age of 25. He was 23, Lyon. Right? Smith was about 22-ish, I think, when he made his debut. Marnus would have been, what, 25? Head would have been
Yeah.
24, 25, I would have said.
If not
These are
older.
not... Hey?
If not older, Head I think was
Yeah, but
slightly older. I
he
think
wasn't 27,
Marnus
28.
was slightly older. No, he was
Right?
no. Yeah.
Warner wasn't old. Like, if you look at... Usman Khawaja was 22, 23 when he made his debut. Right? Where are all those 22-year-olds coming from? There isn't... I watch a bit of Shield cricket. I watch a bit of Big Bash. I've seen the A-team
watch
play
everything,
recently. I watch everything. You know that.
Yeah.
I don't see younger players coming through in Australia at the moment. There's a couple of all-rounders that are quite interesting, obviously. There's a couple of players who are good, like someone like Fergus O'Neill, who has a bowling average of like 16, but he bowls 80 miles an hour. So they don't generally pick people who do that. They don't have many sort of younger spinners coming through, right?
Australia have never had spinners, like in the sense that I think outside of Shane Warne and Stuart McGill and Nathan Lyon, like I can't think, like they've never really augured great spinners, right? And they've had these lone spinners who kind of take up the whole burden of the whole spin department, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, no,
for example,
exactly.
I remember a Sri Lankan side that had Muralidharan, Kumar Dharmasena, and one more off spinner in that side, and they were a gun trio, right?
And they'd send a show Sarir as well. Like,
Yeah, and
multiple
then they had
spin options.
and they had Arvinda De Silva as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
No, you're right. I mean, Australia hasn't done that. But so Todd Murphy's the most likely next Australian spinner, and he hasn't taken wickets for a couple of years, and he is young.
Zampa.
But Zampa won't be there in 5 years, man. Zampa is
How old is Zamps?
Well, he's got to be in his 40s, but in 5 years' time, doesn't he? He's not a young man.
No, really?
I
No,
could be
he
wrong.
must be like 31, 32.
No. He's 33. He'll be 38 in 5 years' time. He isn't still playing for Australia in 5 years. And if
Spinners
he
is
is,
fine, bro.
and if he is, there's bigger questions there.
But I think for a spinner, it's fine. If a batter can play till he's 38, 39, 40, I think a spinner can too.
But the over or under on a career is that he's not playing international cricket at the age of 38, right? And if he is, he's playing for maybe a year, right? Like he's almost finished at that point, no matter how you look at it. So they're going to have to look on. So we get back to Australia. You've gone ahead. We've got England at number 2. Do you want Sri Lanka at number 3, which is punchy, but I like it? Or do you want South Africa? I think I feel more comfortable with South Africa at number 3 than Sri Lanka.
You feel more comfortable because why? Because who are the players because Aiden Markram in 5 years, is he going to be there?
No, I feel more comfortable because I think they've got a bunch of players who are going to have a lot of experience over the next couple of years. And they seem to have, I'm basing this on recent history, they seem to be able to keep finding bowlers pretty consistently. And they're going to have, hey?
I'll tell you what, just open up the chat, right?
The chat.
Let's ask the audiences as well.
Then we're just going to get people yelling at us. We're not even going to understand.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll talk over them anyway.
No, what I mean is there'll be so many people coming in. Someone said Cooper Connolly is Australia's next spinner, which I don't think Cooper Connolly is a particularly good bowler, by the way. He might be Australia's next spinner. So I think that shows you, again, the kind of issues that they had. I think the big thing that I like about South Africa is that they have a lot of batting talent coming through, but specifically Marco Jansen, if he can bat at number 7, it gives them such flexibility with their side going ahead, right? And that sort of Jarrod Coetzee, Anrik Nortje type of...
How old is Jarrod? Jarrod must be 28 now, 27?
Yeah, but my point is, I think they keep finding guys like that in a way that other countries maybe don't have that kind of pattern. So I'm basing it on that. I could be wrong. Do you want Sri Lanka at number 3?
I want Sri Lanka at number 3.
All right. So Robbie has Sri Lanka and I have South Africa. And then I have, who do you have at 4? South Africa or Australia?
South Africa.
Okay. So you have South Africa at 4 and I have Sri Lanka at 4. So we picked the top 4 sides here, Robbie, and neither of us have Australia.
Well, I'm thinking of batters who are there. Like, who are the young batters there right now? No one really, actually.
There's none. That's my point. Sam Constas? I mean,
You're right, actually.
There's really
There was that
interesting.
kid who keep getting hit on the head, no? What was his name?
Yeah, Will Pekoski. Well, this is one of the big
stop
issues.
playing, though.
If Will
He stopped
Pekoski
playing.
was playing now and didn't get hit in the head, he'd probably be averaging low 40s to mid 40s in Test cricket, right? And would be going towards his peak. That changes things a lot because now you've got one player who's a bit of a banker. So I don't know how you feel about Cameron Green as well. Cameron Green on talent, I have no issue with. Whether Cameron Green is going to play consistently and be around in 5 years' time is, I think, a much bigger question.
Tim David?
Tim David's...
Tim is also young. Tim's what,
Yeah.
25?
I think he's a bit older than that, isn't he? He's 29.
20.
So he'll be
29.
34 in 5 years' time.
He'll be fine. He'll still be around. But I think he'll become an important cog in their wheel. But they'll need
Where
guys
does
like
he
that
bat?
to stand up.
Yeah, that's the point. He's in his peak now. He needs to be a star in the next year and a half for you and I to believe in that. But also, he's going to bat at 6 or 7, right? He's going to have an impact.
I think he'll probably come slightly higher.
He can't play spin.
Because
He's
what,
not gonna-
Stoinis and Maxi and these lads are already...
They're not going to be around in 5 years?
Yeah, they won't be around in 5 years. So
Yeah.
I'd imagine... that's why I'd imagine him to have a more important role slightly higher than number 5 or 6. Sorry, number 6 or 7.
So there's a couple of good names coming up in the chat here at the moment.
Put the
someone
chat
said-
on the screen, bro. Let me also see it.
So Renshaw is too old, but
too
I think
old, yeah,
Renshaw's a
Renshaw's-
player who will, at the very least, we might see him come back into international cricket. So I'm willing to say in the next 5 years, he should play again based on his talent. Jai Richardson, if Jai Richardson is fit, that makes me feel a lot better about Australia's future, right? But Jai Richardson has never been fit.
Nathan Ellis is also pretty good. As Nathan Ellis...
is-
You gotta make do with what you have, right? But Nathan,
No,
is
but
a
I
pretty-
think Nathan Ellis is really good. But if he's in your top 2 best bowlers, I think that's an issue. If he's your 4th or 5th best bowler, I think that's a really good side, right? But
How old is Bolland?
36?
Whew, doesn't
Yep.
look it.
No, he's a good-looking man. I'll give him that. So Michael Nisa, he's been the backup forever, right? He's 35. You see what I'm saying? It's old, dude. They're so old, and you're right with Australia. I think there's been something within Australian cricket over the last few years where they have picked older players, right? But the 28, 29-year-olds are not dominating. So it's not like Mike Hussey and Brad Hodge and Stuart Clark are sitting there in the wings because we know about them because they'd be starring in other places. You've got guys like Xavier Bartlett, right, who are coming through.
He's all right. Xavier Bartlett's decent.
Exactly. I think they've got decent players, but South Africa have Marco Janssen.
Well, I think what about Spencer Johnson? How old is he?
He's actually old as well.
Shit.
Yeah, he's not quite as old as the other guys, but because he was injured a lot, right? I think he's late 20s. Yeah, he's 29. So you could still get 4 years out of him, right? Like whether he's playing with his injury history at 34, though, is a bit touchy. Are we happy, though, having said all this, to have Australia still ahead of Bangladesh? Both of us.
Yeah.
I agree. Right? So if we have them at 5, do you want Bangladesh at 6? Based on everything we've said, all those younger players that they have coming through. Not all of them are like, Shanto
Given
has his
today's
own-
realities, yes, I think so. Bangladesh at 6 ahead of West Indies for me.
That means
Whoa, dude. Wait.
that means ahead of Pakistan and New Zealand.
Yeah, not ahead of New Zealand. Come on, listen. Let's get back to the drawing board.
No,
Listen,
let's go
put
back
the
to New
chat.
Zealand. So New Zealand
Let's
have
go to New
Will
Zealand.
O'Rourke in the bowling, and they have Ravindra and Phillips.
Glenn Phillips.
So good,
who else
3
comes
good cricketers there. We're all happy with those 3 good cricketers. What else are they going to have in 4 to 5 years' time? Maybe still Kyle Jamieson?
Kyle Jamieson, yes, for sure. Kyle Jamieson.
Well, you say for sure. He's had a lot of injuries.
But he's also young, Baba. He's what? He
not.
Must be,
I don't think he's as young as you think he is.
he must be 27 now.
He's 30. So he'll be 35 with his injury history. He's probably...
See, those guys don't get old really quickly, right? Like even Tim Saudi looks like he's 40 right now. And he just stopped playing last year.
Yeah. But Tim Southey bowled his whole career without too many
Trent
injuries,
Bolt.
right?
Trent Bolt.
He's well over... He'll be about 40 by the time they come out of here.
Yeah, he will be. But I'm just saying, like even him, He's been bowling.
Oh yeah. No, I get your point.
Like,
They've
you know,
got
he's
they've got a
also
couple of young players who don't come up on our list, by the way. I think someone might have put one in. Yeah. What's his name? Reese Maru.
Maru.
Is one that's coming through, and they've got that's Ben Sears, isn't it? Coming through. So they've got a couple of players coming through. So I think we can again that pushes Bangladesh a little bit, right? But
Bro, I would like with given everything, I actually would put New Zealand, maybe even oh, slightly ahead of Australia.
you want New Zealand ahead of Australia? Oh, I love this. Now we're getting somewhere. Woo!
Wouldn't you? Because I think just the way they run their cricket is very organized. So I think that they always have contingency plans in place, and they're developing cricketers at all points in time. So I think their approach to international cricket is largely different from a lot of the other countries.
I think there's two ways of looking at this, right? There is what we know at the moment. So so we know that there's a few young players coming in the system that are coming through, and we know that there's 3 good young players that we've mentioned on our board so far, right?
Yeah.
And we haven't been able to come up with those with Australia at the same point.
Correct.
But we also have to understand that over the history of the game, Australia has generally never dropped off very far, right? There's the mid-80s where they had a little period, but they haven't dropped off. So it's quite a big call for us to suddenly say, yes, and we can look at the proof, and we have looked at the proof. It does look grim for Australia. So you have to weigh up the fact that you talk about the system of New Zealand, but also the talent in Australia generally doesn't disappear, right? But
it doesn't.
When we look at it, we can't see it at the moment.
They're very solid first-class players, and they don't really, throw a lot of light on those players till they actually come into the international scene, right?
Yeah.
They only hype up these players, say, before an Ashes or before a big Border Gavaskar series or something like that. The same thing happened with Constance, right? Today, half of the cricketing world knows who Sam Constance is because of how much hype there was around him during the Australia series when India went there, right? So I think they do that really well. And so I would actually, and I think in that sense, the way they run their cricket, the administrative side of the cricket is also pretty streamlined and pretty sleek. So in that sense, I feel like the chances of them producing match-winning cricketers, championship contending cricket teams, the chances are a lot more from, say, in Australia and in New Zealand than, say, a Bangladesh or perhaps even a Sri Lanka, especially if you look at the trend over the last 6 years. That's been one of my main talking points when I speak about Sri Lanka, because I don't think it's a dearth of talent. I think it's the dearth of just consistency of playing the same players and just building their mindset and making them feel secure within that unit.
So you want New Zealand ahead of Australia?
For now, yeah.
I don't think that's a bad call. I follow both those countries pretty closely.
There's Glenn Phillips, and who's that other wicketkeeper bat dude? He is so good. My God, what's his name? I played with him in the T10s in Zimbabwe.
Not Seifert.
Tim Seifert.
Tim Seifert. He's 30, by the way, so he's a little bit older for this particular one. But they've got Tim Robinson coming through as well. Like, the thing is, you look at Constance and Fraser McGurk. Those are the last 2 Australian players who've come through, as you said, with hype and everything else. The bubbles popped almost instantly with them, right? Now, you look at some of the New Zealand players, and it's been a little bit different. Like Ravindra, he's still a really fantastic player a couple of years in. Right, so
and I would say you have a Tim Seifert opening with a Rachin Ravindra. That would make a great pair, right? And you have Devin Conway at 3 for the next 3 or 4 years, and then you have who's that other opening bat, bro? Who's got a lot of potential, but he seldom gets runs. But when he gets runs, it's like big runs.
Finn Allen.
Finn Allen, he's really good as well.
So I think Finn Allen is more like a Fraser McGurk or a Constance, where he exploded and hasn't been able to do it consistently. But Australia seem to have only Finn Allens, whereas New Zealand have Finn Allens and Rachin Ravindras.
So for me, I think that's why I would give. And with bowling, I don't really doubt New Zealand. They have this stock type of bowlers that come out of there. and they all look the same, they all behave the same, they all like it's like a Matt Henry, right? You'll get a lot of Matt Henrys from there, right? And they'll just reproduce those type of bowlers. So
I
that's
think
why
I
I
have
would
more
like to.
questions on New Zealand's bowlers based on this, right, than I do on their batting. But I don't have any answers on Australia's bowling, right? It's not like I could say, oh, like let's say Jai Richardson is better than Will O'Rourke, right? Which I think is probably fair on overall talent. Will O'Rourke has played international cricket consistently already in his career. I know he's injured again at the moment. Jai Richardson hasn't, right? Like Jai Richardson is a figment of my imagination at this point. Like I know how good he
Yeah.
can be, but he has, and until he can actually prove his body can do it, I think we have to be really, really honest there. So I'm okay with New Zealand being ahead of Australia. I think
I'm telling you, I'm just going to let an intrusive thought come out, okay, here. Like, guys, if you all want to play international cricket, if you all are like between the ages of 15 and 18, just migrate to New Zealand. They really look after talent really well. Just migrate there. And if you want to play international cricket, like forget the IPLs and the T20 leagues, but if you want to play top level international cricket, just migrate there. They look after their cricketers so well. And if you're talented, if you got the ability and you got the willpower and the convictions to play at the highest level, best place to play, I'd say.
I knew you'd like this podcast, by the way. All right. We have Australia at 6, by the way, which is awesome. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Oh, sorry, no, we've already got Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's up further. So Bangladesh, West Indies, Pakistan, Afghanistan. So there's a lot for Pakistan where they are on this list. But again, we went through that before. We didn't come up with a lot of Pakistan names. We came up with 3 Pakistan names, and one of them is Shaheen Afridi, who I said his knees. I don't care how old his real age is. He's old. His knees are older than 28.
Like
So-
also about where a team is going to be in 5 years is so dependent on how is their cricket being run by the administrators.
I like that. Yes.
You know, so the ranking also I think is also in line with, okay, how do these people run the show there? And what is the opportunity, even if you have solid cricketers, what is the opportunity of them actually being able to take the field and them consistently having an opportunity at the international level for a period of time for them to realize their potential at that level? Because the jump from first class cricket to international cricket is a step up in itself. Now it's going to take a while to get to that level and kind of consolidate your position at that level, right? In India, there's a big churn of those players because the talent is so big, you have lesser time to go and consolidate. Getting to the Indian team is hard enough, but maintaining that position there, the Indian team is way harder, right? Because the churn of Indian cricketers, especially after the IPL, the churn's just been like tenfold higher right now.
Yeah,
right?
and
Which is
also,
why
if
we
you
see-
go back in history,
we
we
see-
see that in the West Indies and Australia during their great periods, right? Which is
Yep.
the same thing of
Yep.
like getting to the team is harder than anything else. And so sometimes you actually end up with like a situation where like the 10th, 9th, 10th, 11th players, it's like a constant rotation. Of the best players of those players, and it almost ruins a couple of very talented players because
Yeah,
of
it
that.
does.
No, I
It
think
does.
that's fascinating. That doesn't help us with who the 7th team should be. I think, it
And
should be
that's why I
Bangladesh.
think with Pakistan, with the shit show that there is right now, as far as picking teams and sacking captains and picking new captains and coaches and that whole circus that goes on there, I don't think it augurs very well for them in the short run of 5 years. They need to do and same with West Indies. And they need to do a complete overhaul of their cricket.
So, do you want Bangladesh at number 7?
I don't know, man. It's a like I see now even Bangladesh players, right? Like I see the the potential you see in Jakar Ali and Tawhid Hridoy and
Nahid
I like
Rana,
even
Rashid
yeah,
Hassan.
no,
They've got
Rashid
so many
Hassan,
good young players.
they're good young players, but
They
say a
don't
World
have a
Cup
history of
quarterfinal or a-
producing it.
say a World Cup quarterfinal or
Yeah.
a World Cup semi-final, what happens then? Like,
But-
will these players turn up? Like,
You're right,
and
but we
s-
haven't ranked 7th, which is a World Cup quarterfinal position, not a semi-final position. So
Correct.
I'm okay with that. I think we say they have enough talent to get there. Whether they have enough talent to go up further up, like we were talking about earlier, that's the thing of, is the system run well? I mean, you look at how bad the BCB is run, right? Look how bad the BPL is run. So
Yeah.
but we can see that there are younger players coming through there with talent who are going to have experience in 5 years' time, right? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the combination of those two things, right? Are you going to have a bit of experience, and are you a talented player? So if we put Bangladesh at 7, right, we then have to pick between Afghanistan, the West Indies, and Pakistan as our next side, which is incredible where Pakistan is. So AMB5 says West Indies have Athenaeus, Graves, Augusta, Carey, Seals, Jewel Andrew, and many more. Okay, Athenaeus, I don't think is going to be a star. Graves, I don't think is going to be a star. Seals, I think, is very good, but he's always going to be limited by the speed that he bowls. I really like Jewel Andrew coming through. So some of these players I'm okay with. I don't know if I see this as a better young core than what Afghanistan have, though.
Nope.
I would argue this is a better young core than Pakistan have, though. Based on everything we know, right? Mohammed Harris, if Mohammed Harris was on here, I'd be saying the same thing. He's a good player, but is he going to be like a revolutionary player?
Yeah, but the thing is, he's a good player. Even Saim Ayub is a good player. Right?
Saim Ayub, I do like a lot, yeah.
You know, if Saim and say the likes of what's his name, Harris, get a consistent enough run at the at the top, and they don't get changed for a year and a half, I'm certain that for the potential players that they'll be able to consolidate their positions in that side.
Mm-hmm. So, I think West Indies is a tier below Pakistan and Afghanistan, right? Based on what the names we just put up on there.
Yeah.
So, who goes at 8, Pakistan or Afghanistan? Because again, Afghanistan
I'd go
have
Afghanistan.
I love that. The problem with Afghanistan is what we said about Bangladesh is that they don't have a history of producing talent over a long period of time.
I'll tell you why.
But if you look at the teams now, it does look like it should be Afghanistan.
It should be Afghanistan because I'm telling you, they're a young cricket nation, right? So in that, and they don't have a lot of history to go with. So you gotta only assume the best for a young country like that who's made the kind of progress that they've made since 2010-11 when they first started playing Test cricket, right? So I think give their trajectory from where they started to where they are today, 5 years down the line, only augurs really well for them. Gurbaz will still be playing. Omar Zai will still be playing. Who's the third guy you mentioned who scored runs?
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim Zadran will still be playing. Yeah. So all of these guys will still be playing, yeah. So Rashid Khan will still be playing.
They've actually got some.
Noor Ahmed will still be playing.
Yeah, they've got. I forget his name now, but there's another younger player who was a wicketkeeper for them in the 2019 World Cup for one game, who I still think will be a really good bat as well. He just hasn't quite come on yet. So I think there's a lot of talent coming through on that side. Whereas with Pakistan, I think there's probably good talent there. The argument that you would have to make at the moment is they've spent 5 years not really working out how to get that talent into the side, right? So if Pakistan was to work out how to operate better, they might be more players there. But at the moment, it's hard to make that as a call. Ikram Ali Gill, that was the person I was thinking. Thank you very much to Rohit.
Sorry.
Who said that one.
Please. Hi.
Hello.
They've just
Hey, buddy.
Okay, guys, come on. Give me half an hour. Okay? You want to say hi to Jarrod uncle? Say hi quickly and go. Hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Goodbye, quickly. Thank you.
I think you could go either direction with those two. I would have them in the same tier, and I could make arguments for either of them. I'm happy to go Afghanistan and then Pakistan next. I think West Indies need to be 10.
Yeah. Unfortunately. I feel sad saying this, but yeah.
Are we missing a side? Afghanistan? God, don't tell me we've missed a side, have we? Who are the test playing nations?
Have you missed a side?
I'm just making sure I haven't missed a side. There are 12 test playing nations. If in the chat, have we missed a team yet that we haven't talked about? We have India, England, Sri Lanka, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Pakistan, West Indies. Oh, Zimbabwe. Sorry, yeah, no, I didn't put those down on my list at the end. All right, no, that's fine. Okay, I have West Indies ahead of Zimbabwe at 10.
Yeah.
Based on the message that someone put up before, I like Zimbabwe, but I don't know how they're going to make any runs. So,
yeah. Ben Curran's now there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Ben Curran's that young either, by the way. but he should still be there in 5 years' time. I'll give him that.
He'll still be there.
So if we have West Indies,
Like, see, even the teams at the bottom, right? Like even the Zimbabwe, Pakistan, West Indies, these three, like a lot of these sides, it's not like there isn't talent. I
No.
think a lot of it is the administration side of things, right? And player management and how you look after the players.
no, exactly. Someone said Brian Bennett. Well, we talked about it before, but he's one player. They need to, all their other best batters are about 45 years old. So in 5 years' time, some of them.
How
will
old
be
is Ryan Burl?
I want to say that Ryan Burl is about 32. Does that sound right?
He's younger.
He's 31. So he might still be around.
Behaves younger.
But again, he behaves younger. But he's but that's the bowling. I'm not as worried about the bowling. I think they do have some good bowling options coming through. The batting, Brian Bennett seems really good. Obviously, they've got that, Mayeye is playing for Kent, right? If Mayeye comes back, and there's one more young Zimbabwean batter I've been told about, but there's not a lot there. I've got Zimbabwe above Ireland, though, because I really worry about the future of Ireland.
Oh, Ireland.
Yeah, like a lot.
I don't know much about Irish cricket.
Yeah, well, you know who Mark Adair is? He's the only player that we mentioned on our list.
Yeah.
So they've got Loken Tucker, and they've got
Tucker's good, man. Loken Tucker is really good.
I like him, and they've got Harry Tector.
Tector's
So
good as well.
it's not that there's zero talent there, but there isn't a lot of talent coming through there. So I have them as the 12. The interesting
Ireland
thing
is
about
a great place to migrate to if you want to play international cricket.
and we've got Robbie's travel agency as available to
No
us as
travel
well.
agency, just suggestions.
He's player agent. He's a player agent. is what he's
No
really trying to
player
do.
agent.
So, one thing we have to remember of what we've done here is we're looking at overall strength. It doesn't mean that some of these teams won't be better in individual formats, right? Because we've tried to look at overall strength of cricket. Who knows where it will be? But do you want me to go through our list and see if you feel happy?
Yeah.
India, England. You've got Sri Lanka. I've got South Africa. Then South Africa, then Sri Lanka. So we've only got them one spot difference each. But you can have Sri Lanka at 3 or South Africa at 3. New Zealand at 5, Australia, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Pakistan, West Indies, Zimbabwe, Ireland. That is the list of where teams will be in 5 years' time. It's still not a lot of Asian teams in the top 6, is it?
I think I'll make a change, by the way.
Oh, no. What's he going to do?
I think I'll swap South Africa and Sri Lanka.
Oh, so you're going with my one. So you're going South Africa at 3 and Sri Lanka at 4. Okay. I think that's right. There's a part of me that still wants to put Pakistan at 8, but it's the same argument that we had with Australia and New Zealand, just where I'm like, I kind of feel like Pakistan should find talented players in the next 5 years, but I can see the Afghanistan ones, right? So exactly. I think Australia and New Zealand, Afghanistan and Pakistan, you could easily switch those two around just depending on how you feel. We've gone more with the talent we can see available at the moment. Was that fun, Robbie, or was that the worst thing I've ever made?
That was a lot of fun. Dude, what happened to that cricketer who scored a triple hundred in that one day club game? Is a Punjabi lad.
The Australian guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
How old is he?
He's not very old because he's playing under 19s recently, wasn't he? Oh my God, I've forgotten his name now. Someone, actually, about 12 people will put it in the comments by the time I find it. But was it Harry Singh? Is that his name? He's 21. Is it Harry Singh?
He could be nurtured.
Oh, maybe it's not Harry Singh.
Age.
Oh, I've forgotten his name. Yeah. I'm not saying this.
Harjit Singh.
Oh, okay.
Harjit Singh.
Yeah, Harjit Singh. That's right.
So it must be Harry Singh.
In Australia, it's lucky he's not H. I think with him. No, he's 19. There we go. 19. Harry Singh plays in England. I knew there was a Harry Singh that I've been looking up recently for some reason. I've got no issue with a player like that coming through, but we haven't seen him play any senior cricket yet. I'd be more comfortable if I'd seen him play senior cricket at the professional level and we got a bit of an idea. There's a couple of younger players coming through in Victoria that are interesting as well. You got Will Sutherland, Annabelle's brother.
Yeah,
there's
he seems like I've seen him in the blast as well. He seems alright, huh?
he's okay, but again, I'm not sure what his main skill is at international cricket. There's actually a bunch of all-rounders. Remember Aaron Hardy? There's a bunch of guys like Aaron Hardy where I'm like, I can see that they're talented cricketers, but what do they do at the next level that is going to be handy to that? Anyway, let's get on to some super chats. That was good fun. See, I made that up this morning. That's why the podcast was late, because I was trying to make up that graphic that neither of us could read anyway, but at least we had the colors. Hair ties for Glorfindel says, talk about the gender and sectarian apartheid in Afghanistan. Compare with apartheid in South Africa being banned or the boycott of Sri Lanka by some teams. So Sri Lanka was not boycotted by teams. It was that they didn't think that it was safe to travel there, which is a bit different to what you're talking about. So let's move that to the side because that is a separate issue. I think you can make, and I've done the podcast before on this, you can definitely make the claim that in Afghanistan, that under the ICC rules, Afghanistan should not be playing international men's cricket anymore because they have to have a women's side and they don't have a women's side. We don't have to get into politics here. We have a cricket regulation that says you have to have a women's side. And as I've said before, Ireland and Zimbabwe have to spend their money that they get from the ICC on making sure they have a women's side. Afghanistan get all of their money and put it into their men's side. So there is a cricket advantage that Afghanistan has by not putting any money into women's cricket. That's the argument that you need to make. It's not a political argument. It's a cricket argument at this point. And it's very fair. If you want to make the political argument, I think it's also fair. The reason that South Africa is so much different than any other country when it comes to politics and everything else is it was an official rule, right? This wasn't like something dodgy on the back end. Literally, they had an official rule, and that rule was like was a separation based on race. Well, Afghanistan have an official rule as well, right, when it comes to women. So I think you can make a political argument there, but I'm not sure that you have to make a political argument when it comes to that. Samit says, well, sipping through my old Panini football stickers. Do you know what Panini football stickers are? Is that a thing? So you used to
baseball cards.
Yeah, you know baseball cards are. So Panini football stickers is like the football version of that, but you get a sticker and you put it in a sticker book. Samit says, did cricket forget to cash in on that? Or did I just miss the 90s worn or such and shiny that came with something obscure? We had cricket cards in Australia and they had cricket cards in England. So England has cricket cards, I want to say from about the 1930s to 1960s, and they kind of die off a little bit. And then there is a cricket version of Panini as well. And cricket then, cricket had, in Australia, had cricket cards around. And I've got a Ramiz Raja cricket card from like 1985 or somewhere in my collection of odd cricket stuff. Look at Robbie. Who doesn't want a Ramiz Raja cricket card? So they were around. But those whole cricket cards, I'm going to sell it to you now. Those whole cricket, I'm going to frame it and put it in your office. And just one day you're going to walk in, you're just going to see it. That whole thing was on the back of tobacco companies and chewing gum companies, right? That's where a lot of those
Pepsi had something like that as well.
I was going to say, so if
in India,
it wasn't so much so in America and England, that eventually those industries got so big that companies took them over. But originally, the old cricket cards that you can get, they're beautiful. You can have a look at them, Robbie. If you look at some of the old cricketers, they're really cool. But they're from cigarette companies. Right, and you can still get them. People still sell them, but they just never got as big in cricket. And I think part of the reason is that in the old days you only had like 12 or 15 international cricketers in your country, so there aren't that many cards to have. Now you could probably make a claim that with international cricket and with IPL and everything else, you could bring them back. But that's the reason they never got as big. But I used to collect basketball.
You can actually bring them back. I think it'd be a lot of fun to bring them back.
Should we just talk to someone? Because you and I don't have enough business interests at the moment. Let's start another one. Samit says, follow up. If you had to design a top trumps for IPL, where could I play Warner versus Kohli or even Bumrah versus AP? What 6 KPIs would you pick so it's fun yet fair? So those old cards on the back of them, they rank players on different skill sets. Yeah.
Like trump cards, right? Basically. So it'd be brilliant. Like WWF and WWE trump cards that we used to have.
Yeah.
So that would be awesome, dude.
So what would the 6 cricket? I don't even know what you would put on the back of cricket. I've been working on one for
matches. Yeah. You put matches. You'd put hundreds. You put 50s. You'd put average. 50s.
How does it work
average.
for all-rounders?
It doesn't matter. You put the same thing.
You've already got about... So you got hundreds,
4
50s average. You can't have strike rate then.
matches and strike rate. You can have strike
But
rate
you've
for
now
sure.
got 5 for batting.
So you take so you got wickets as well.
Yeah, but what about bowling average and economy?
5 wicket hauls.
Yeah. I think we need to think this through. I don't know if we've nailed this, Samit, but thank you very much for your question. It was a cool question. Or questions. Petrol sniffing doofus says about Robbie's point of freeing up a purse for petrol does smell incredible, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
I don't take drugs, but like if I had a choice, petrol.
We have
would
a
probably be my
family
drug.
that loves the smell of petrol.
Oh, I have an electric car now, and I really miss the smell of petrol. Robbie's point of freeing up a purse for player if they want. If that's a concern, why not just release Sundar before auction? Why help CSK? I like that. I hadn't thought of that.
Just release Sundar just before the auction.
Because you free up your money, and then CSK have to still go out and get him at the auction.
Yeah,
so
but
you
the
make
thing
it
is, they're
harder on
getting
them.
more money.
Who owns
They're getting
Gujarat?
more money over
200
into their purse.
No, but they're not getting more money into their purse. They get the same amount of money if they trade him as if they release him into their purse.
It depends on how much money, how much cash is being transferred, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
but you,
like,
that cash
say he's
transfer doesn't go onto
say
the
he was
salary
bought
cap.
for 6 crores and he was then sold for 8 crores to CSK. That 8 crores goes into that kitty.
I don't think it does, mate. I don't think that
think it
changes.
does.
No, because because then you would have teams doing that all the time to make sure that they had a higher salary cap for every year. I don't think.
No,
that's
for me,
how it
when I
works.
got traded from RR to CSK, it was a cash trade.
Yeah.
And for me, I got sold. And when I got sold, I that money went into their kitty. That's why they sold me.
I can tell you, I'm about 85% sure that isn't the case. And the reason is because for the vast majority of teams, when I've asked them about this, haven't used that money in the salary cap. They actually use it in they don't use it on players. They use it directly for facilities and for upgrading things and everything else. And if that was the case, you would just use that money in the salary cap and give it straight to the next player that you're paying it for. So I don't think that, I mean, we could be wrong. Feel free to reach out to either of us, but I don't think that is the case. Also, Rakshit, there's a super chat from someone in the group that I can't see. If you can find that for me there. Hair ties for Glorfindel says, yes, I want to make a political argument, Jarrod. It's a more important argument than the cricket argument. Thanks for making the cricket one too. Well, I made the non-cricket one as well. As I said,
Yeah.
once a government writes a legislation that is against one format of human beings, you can do that. It's very important, though, hair ties, to know that South Africa actually were already doing horrible things in cricket. They'd already kind of banned themselves because they wouldn't play India, they wouldn't play Pakistan, they wouldn't play the West Indies. Again, Afghanistan isn't refusing to play other teams who have women's sides, right? What is very interesting is as we see this era of women umpires coming in, what happens with Afghanistan and women's umpires? So you obviously have Sue Redfern. There's a 4th umpire in New Zealand this week that is a woman. Will the Taliban say that Afghanistan men can't be umpired by women? And if that's the case, again, you have another thing to be able to bring it up. Again, not just cricket, it's cricket and politics at that point. It's the combination of two. But the whole history of South Africa getting banned in cricket is fascinating because they don't get banned outright for a long period of time. In fact, even after Basil D'Oliveira, Australia was still going to play them, right? So it's not as clear cut as you would think. So South Africa isn't the great historical precedent that people would like. Do you know about the Davis Cup and India not winning the Davis Cup in 1974?
Mm-hmm.
I think every Indian child should be taught about this because it's a fascinating story. India, I think, make the final of the Davis Cup. I think it's in 1974, and they refused to play because the team who they made it against was South Africa, right? And I think that's an incredible political stand to be like, I don't know if India's ever got close to winning a Davis Cup at any other time. But I think it's a really, really interesting political
We should
story.
actually do a deep dive one day on just the whole situation of how South Africa got banned or for apartheid, back in the day. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know the whole story. I honestly don't know the whole story. You probably know all of it, and we probably do a deep dive, and I'll just listen like a good student.
So one of the
and ask
reasons
questions.
they didn't get banned is because they formed the ICC, South Africa. which is fascinating.
Was it?
Anyway, we'll do that. Oh, you're right. That is a very good episode. Rib hug. No, Ribhu Ganguly. Rib hug. It does say rib hug, to be fair. Jarrod said certain players like Stokes are great because they are limited. Was UV limited, or was it unfortunate that he never got GOAT stats? His under 19 batch was destined for greatness.
See, you got to understand, someone like UV came into the scene when there were some really solid greats in India already by then.
Yeah.
There was Sachin Tendulkar, there was Virender Sehwag, and that partnership already took off. Saurav Ganguly, Rahul Dravid, VVS Lakshman, who was still playing one-day cricket at that point in time. And UV should have been a typical number 3, number 4 for India. But and then for the most part, once at the back end of his innings, he got to bat at number 4 and 5 a little bit. But at the front end of his career, he batted a lot at number 6, number 7. In fact, before Mahi came along, I think he even finished a lot of games for India at number 6 and number 7. So you needed a solid finisher for India, and so at that point they used him. So if he, from the start of his innings, start of his career, if he batted at number 4, his numbers would have actually had GOAT stats.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think he's probably more naturally suited to number 5 the way he played anyway, and I think that if he played at number 4, well, here's the reason. I think because at number 5 he could unleash his power a little bit more, whereas at number 4 he would have knocked it around. So I think he was. I mean, his numbers. His numbers are better at number 5 than number 4.
Yeah, sure.
Not much. There's not much in it.
Yeah, because I truly believe at number 4, you would actually get the time to just get in a little bit more. And the beauty about someone like Yuvraj Singh getting in is that once he gets in, that dude is really hard to stop.
I agree with you. I just think that if he'd gone in at number 4, I think he'd chews up a lot of balls just knocking it around. Whereas at number 5, I think he had a little bit more of a thought on strike rate. I think that's what makes him.
That would have been transitional, to be honest. I think that's because he started off at number 5.
I
think if he started off at number 4 as an out and out number 4, then I think the story would have been vastly different.
And you're right, he did bat at number 6 59 times in ODIs. I do think UV was a little bit limited. I don't think he's a player who could bat like in multiple positions, like as in he could have gone up the order. And I think there was an element of limited to him. But I think that when things clicked, which is what Robbie was just talking about, there also wasn't a lot you could do to him. Right, like he got it to that other level. I think Ben Stokes is a very interesting comparison. Actually, I'd never thought of comparing the two of them because they bat in a very different way, but there probably is an element of them being a little bit more not as fluid as maybe other batters. But once they reach that sort of
UV not fluid? What are you saying, dude?
No, fluid as in you couldn't. UV's not going to open or bat at 3, right? Like Ben Stokes and UV are very yeah. Well, I'm just
middle order bats.
Yeah, very much middle order bats. Very much 4, 5, 6, right? And with Stokes, probably even with Stokes, like and we're talking about longer form cricket here of them not being able to go up the order and everything else. So they're limited probably in that way, but once they're on, they're like at a different level of a normal batter, right? That normal batter can't touch. I think that's a fascinating one. I really like that question from Rib Hug, as all of his friends will be calling him from now on in. I'm Jarrod. This is Robbie. Thank you very much for coming on this podcast. Like, subscribe, do all the things that you need to do, and send Robbie as much Ramiz Raja trading cards as you can find. And we'll be back again next week for more KimAppa.